Hello everybody, it's the Game Judge here, and we just received a potential big leak for the location of the Elder Scrolls 6, and this information comes from a longtime employee of Bethesda Game Studios. This person, known as Ray Lederaire, has worked as the senior concept artist for Bethesda Game Studios since 2008, and he's worked on games such as Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and even Skyrim, where he designed my favorite armor, the Daedric armor. But where I want to talk about a potential leak here is on his Pinterest. He recently uploaded concept art that looks very heavily inspired from the Hammerfell location in the Elder Scrolls universe, and has spurred a lot of people speculating about the location of the Elder Scrolls 6. And if you take a look here, you can see why people think it's Hammerfell. This is reminiscent of what? The Red Guards in Hammerfell, right? I mean, look at this. If we do a side-by-side comparison of the picture, you can see with this what this person's wearing here. It's Hammerfell Red Guard inspired. And if you go to the photos here, you can even see some of the weapons here. They kind of look like some curved blades, perhaps similar to what we see with the Red Guards, or even the Red Guard and the Dark Brotherhood of Skyrim, if you guys remember that. It kind of looks like the outfit that he's wearing and potentially the weapons that they use, like the scimitar and things like that. And even here, it kind of looks deserty, right? Like we typically associate the landscape of Hammerfell with being kind of deserty. So you can see lots of deserts, so you can see water, kind of mountainous, kind of what you know about the Hammerfell location. So at least it's a very reliable source. But what's interesting about this is that shortly after his Pinterest started getting all this activity and all these people started speculating, his account went to private. Now, it's not to say maybe he didn't want people to get the wrong impression, but what I want to point out here is if you look on this Reddit post, you can see someone down here, shout out to Blackfleet Captain. He says, I've been following this guy's post for the last few months. The photos and artwork on his Pinterest has gone from roughly half and half between fantasy and sci-fi weapons, creatures, and environment to almost all fantasy stuff, likely since his work on Starfield is concluded. Hopefully, they're obviously gearing up for the Elder Scrolls 6. Now, obviously, this is just a random person on Reddit. I wasn't following this guy's Pinterest before, so I would take this with a grain of salt. But if this is true and this lines up, I mean, it makes sense, right? Maybe he was working on this other stuff. He was inspired by this art that he was working on for Starfield, so that's the stuff he was posting, right? So then all of a sudden, he's working on the Elder Scrolls 6. We know it's in development. And then he starts posting all these photos that very obviously look inspired by Hammerfell or look very similar. So logically, you can kind of follow that to its conclusion. And Hammerfell has already been the rumored location. So I just found that interesting that this is a potential leak. And depending on how you look at it, it could be strong evidence. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys think this is a big indicator for the Elder Scrolls 6 and it's going to be in Hammerfell? I personally think it is. I think if this pattern of him posting these art concepts and before he's kind of posting the sci-fi fantasy stuff and then all of a sudden he just makes it private, it kind of makes it seem like maybe Hammerfell is probably the location, but that's a little speculative. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is strong evidence for the Elder Scrolls 6 taking place in Hammerfell? Or do you guys think this is just a lot of stuff making connections that aren't really there and that we should just be patient? We don't really know where it's going to be. Or where do you think the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be, and what evidence do you have for that, if any? Thank you all so much for watching. Hope to see you all on the next one.